All right. So let us begin. Let's begin with Neri, who has not been able to influence anyone so far.
Yes, I'm not really very good at this. Let's try. Let's see. One moment. We'll give Kroglerd a dog race a chance.
All right. Well, Kroglerd. So I just want to give a bit of a description of Kroglerd. Now, as you see Kroglerd, you see a goblin that light green skin, medium build, an air of confidence and poise. He's bald by choice, the smooth head accentuating his black, expressive eyes. We know him, for those that weren't here last week, as the Grand Ambassador. And he dresses, compared to the other goblins, impeccably. Now, mind you, impeccably doesn't necessarily mean fine clothing, right? Natia, good point. What impeccable means is that compared to the other goblins, his rags look pretty good. So you walk up to Kroglerd Dogbrace. And what do you say, Nadia? She's going to be our newest star, by the way, this week.
She's trying to type on my computer to help me with my notes. So Neri walks up to Kroglerd and says, what are you the ambassador of, actually?
The eyes, the eyes dark. A smile on his face, though there is a certain sense of charisma.
Oh, well, forgive me, I am the ambassador for the Goblin King. Whenever the Goblin King has business with other factions, such as those with the various churches, or those in the those in the various districts, then it is I who goes to speak with them first, to offer an olive branch, so to speak, to help them understand that we are there as a peaceful group who only wish to prove that the Goblin King is the rightful king of Absalom. I know it's a lot to take in.
Do you regularly meet with the god in the various places, or just the churches?
Oh, now, the gods are fine people. Without them, we wouldn't be protected, of course, but the gods are not really diplomatic. They abide by certain rules and regulations, but when it comes to making deals and understanding alliances, it is the churches and the diplomats of the different places that I deal with directly. Now then, you, since you bring that up, I assume are part of the god, part of...
And he looks over Neri's armor, Neri's outfit.
Looking at it, I would presume that you're part of the Grey Cloaks. Would that be correct? Oh, baby girl has become evil.
The big bad is actually going to be my daughter moving forward. As that conversation is occurring, we'll jump back to Neri in a second. As that conversation is occurring, Beck, who are you speaking with?
Right, Beck is actually curious to talk to Bonehammer, Zendo Bonehammer.
Of course, the one that I didn't get to, you bastard. No, it's fine. It's fine. I know who Zendo is. I just haven't typed him up. So you walk over and you see Zendo Bonehammer. His description bears no resemblance to anything I'm going to say this week, as it'll be typed up after tonight's episode. But he looks very similar and recognizable as a goblin. Yeah, I know. It's a surprise. He is, and we remember from last week, he is the Grand Advisor of Public Relations. Now, one of the things you do notice on him, and I hope I remember this when I actually write the notes, is he has a monocle on one eye. And in his left hand is a notebook. It's very crude. You can see that the leather on the exterior is kind of peeled away. But with it, he's got a little pencil in his other hand, as if ready to write notes moving forward.
Hi. What can I do for you?
Beck, who, compared to everybody else, is in the party at the same height of this guy, hands him some food that he was carrying with him, a fish on a stick, actually.
Oh, wow. This looks... Did you make this?
Right, no, unfortunately, I was unable to. I didn't have the time, but I did send it back to your own cooks, and they cooked it. It is my recipe from my family.
Oh, it looks amazing. I really appreciate that you left the eyes in. It makes it more enjoyable to eat.
Right, I think they're like little grapes. They're delicious.
Exactly. They kind of pop in your mouth as you bite into them, and the juice just runs down the back of your throat.
Delicious, delicious. Sorry to bother you. I'm just so curious what Goblin public relations look like around here. I know a lot of your people spend a lot of time, talking about the Goblin King, but what exactly does that mean for you?
Oh, great question you asked there. Great question. Well, you have to understand that just like any diplomatic grouping, you've got to have good public relations. The people who support you, if they aren't there, well, your kingdom goes to bunk. It just falls apart. You need that support, and my job, as always, is to help with that support. I very much enjoy doing things like creating these little performances. I don't know if you heard, but the Goblin King is very much into theater, and I help with that. I create pieces that help to instill an understanding how the Goblin King is going to be an amazing ruler of Absalom once they finally allow him to take his seat on the throne.
Right, well that's very impressive. Both public relations and theater.
Oh, of course. I mean, what is public relations but theater?
I've always said that. So being a goblin with a finger on the pulse of the city, are you at all concerned what's going on downstairs? I've heard something nasty is going on with the Skinsaw cult and a few murders happening. I don't know if that's something that you've heard of or dealt with, but I'm just kind of curious.
It is unfortunate, but we've managed to spin it in quite a way that I think has helped solidify the Goblin King. The way we are framing it is it's just another way to reduce the population. More homes at cheaper prices.
That's terrible. I hate that. That's right. That's
yeah. I flummoxed you, I think.
I was going to say, Beck has been rendered speechless. Geez.
Yeah, no, Beck.
I think Terry gets an MVP vote for that.
Beck is usually Beck has a smile on his face, but it falls at this bureaucratic action, and just goes, "No, that's not right at all. The purpose of people in power is to help the little folk and to make sure that they're safe, not to spin it in a way that makes them look great. Why do you have all these titles if you're not going to use them for good?"
Well, trust me, it is good. Do you know the price of a shack in the Puddles?
No, I don't actually.
It's over 10 silver.
Why are we charging for housing? Isn't it a right of the people of the city to be able to live comfortably inside the city? Why build these cities if we're not going to help the people who live in them?
He pulls out his notebook and he begins to write some things down. He is listening to you, but there is a perplexion upon his face. You can see that he is confused by what you're saying.
Tell me, 3 homes, do you think that the general masses would appreciate that?
I do.
Let me continue on. If every home is free, what happens when 2 people want the same home?
Well, then they live together. Why?
What if they're mortal enemies?
I don't see why they would be. We're all blind children of the street, barefoot, hungry, and scared. Every one of us a step away from death. Some imagine themselves to be strong, rich, owners of things, but we're not. At the end of days, we will all just be dead, bones, cold and alone. So why not spend your home or life at home with people who appreciate that?
You see a glint in his eye.
Do you have any money on you?
I do.
Oh, would you mind giving it to me to help me better my ways?
Of course. And I hand him all of my money. 1 gold and 6 silver. Beck is not a man who does not back up his words.
I like this. And you see, as you do that, he didn't expect it. He expected you to come across with something that would be a reason why you couldn't do this. And he kind of takes it and puts it in his pocket and writes a variety of notes down. And I need you to give me... Boom. Let's go. Jeez. Man, what... That was deep. Go with... diplomacy.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, yeah. So that's going to give you an influence with our lovely friend Zendo. We move up to... Oh, I was just about ready to go back to Neri, but she disappeared again. We move up to Marcus. Marcus, who are you speaking with?
Marcus is going to make his way up to Velkic.
Oh, okay. All right. You make your way to Velkic, and you see Velkic obviously is older than the rest, not ancient. Now, a note for those watching at home, Goblin age range in Pathfinder 2e is roughly 0 to 50. But when goblins be goblins, their median, the middle of the road where they generally die, is about 20. All right? So understand that goblin life, 20 years old is like, I'm middle-aged, dog. I'm buying a Porsche. So you see Velkic, and Velkic has a few more wrinkles. There's kind of a kind smile on her face. There's only 2 people, when you look at them, have smiles that kind of veer off from the general goblin kind of way of smiling. One is Rickon and the other is Velkic. And Velkic pleasantly smiles at you, Marcus.
Oh, hello. Marcus, correct? That is the name that you were introduced with.
That is correct. Peace of the Dawnflower be upon you.
Oh, a follower of Saren Ray.
Yes, indeed.
How did...
Am I to given to understand that you are one as well?
Of course. Saren Ray has guided me through travels far and wide and brought us here to Absalon. It was a journey, unexpected, but welcome. How did Saren Ray find you?
Well, my Saren Ray actually found me through my sister. We had journeyed to the city so that she could begin her studies as a novice in the service. And, well, let's just say that I heard Saren Ray's calling while I was there.
I see.
Now, mind you, Marcus's eyes have a glint of gold to them. They're no longer standard color, and there's kind of like streaks of gold through his hair as well.
I see, and I see Saren Ray in you. Tell me, what brings you here?
And you notice that she kind of leaves that very vague and open. She doesn't say to the Goblin King's court. She doesn't say to Absalon. She just says, here.
Looking to be of service to those in need. And it is not, it is no secret that those who live in the puddles are those who are most in need. So I do what I can to bring a little peace and help however I can be of service to the less fortunate.
I see. And you feel as if Saren Ray guides you well?
I like to think so.
She will lean into you, and you notice it does have a sense of secrecy about it. Plenty of the other people are just kind of talking, and she does, for a moment, take in the surroundings to fully make sure that she's not necessarily being watched. She leans into you.
As she leans in, I lean in, seeing this, I lean in a bit as well.
Understand that the Goblin King and his court has their secrets, so there's always a chance to serve, but make sure that you are serving the right ones. She kind of leans back, goes back into the smile that she had before. Are you enjoying the food and festivities?
Very much so. It was very kind of your king to set this feast for us.
He is a kind king most days. He has his beliefs, and they can be a bit more revolutionistic than I necessarily agree with, but he is doing what he can to bring the goblin people up here in Absalom so that we are not only of the low class, but have a chance to become merchants and vendors
dock workers,
As you should.
aristocrats.
So, may I ask, you mentioned what the king believes. What do you believe?
She smiles for a moment. You see as she kind of reaches around her neck where a small locket sits. My belief is I want what is best for everyone under Saren Ray. We must protect those that need it. We must aid those that need it. But understand that we must also redeem those that need it. Where an iron fist is not needed, nor is it warranted, but instead a chance to push society forward is welcome.
Marcus has a growing smile as he nods in agreement.
Give
I
me
thank you
a...
for.
Oh, go ahead.
Good. I was gonna say, I thank you for your counsel.
Of course. Give me a religion check as you spoke very specifically about Saren Ray and Saren Ray's beliefs.
All right.
Unless, do you have a Saren Ray lore?
No, I do not.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
All right. That is a success. You will gain 1 influence point with Velkick. Evelyn, just so you know, Marcus got 1 with Velkick, and Beck got 1
Yeah, I
with
heard.
Zendo. Okay, perfect.
You were talking as I was laying Nadia down so I could hear it.
Wait a minute, you put
so I
our
got-
daughter down?
To nap, you
to
ridiculous
nap, my
human.
bad. Okay. Whew. Phrasing.
Puff.
We'll jump back to Neri, who was speaking with Kroglert.
Yes.
And he had given you information about his ambassadorship, so I will allow you to continue from there.
He had mentioned something about her recognizing that she was a member of the Greco's. So, yes.
Because you would
I
ask
am,
the
in
question
fact-
about
yes.
the... Okay.
Yes, I am in fact a member of the Grey Cloaks.
Yeah, of course you are. A fine member as that, I would expect no less. But, as I said, diplomacy with guards is just not something that is necessary. It is those that have hired the guards that we speak with. And of course, from time to time, those outside the city, because there are always new factions arising and falling.
It's fascinating that you place no value in that of the knowledge of the guards of these cities. We know what is going on everywhere at all times.
Forgive me. You mistook what I said. We place value in the guards, and we understand their knowledge. We understand that they know the heartbeat of the people. What I referred to is diplomatic meetings bore those within the guardship.
You would be surprised.
Well, then maybe it is something that I do need to indeed look into. Do you have a name of someone in the Grey Cloaks that may be amenable to the Goblin King taking over in Absalom?
We will not find such fanaticism among the Grey Cloaks, unfortunately.
Fanaticism. Now that is a word that I disagree with. Fanaticism means that we are fanatics, but we are not. The Goblin King is not. We understand that the current state of affairs is unacceptable. Have you have you walked through the puddles?
Of course.
So you have
Well,
seen the detritus, the poor, the hungering masses searching for more.
Of course. But you have to understand that's not about the leadership of the whole city, but of the Puddles itself. Your guard and your leader is all led by the same person who has been dealing with the black market and underhanded things. Perhaps it's more useful for the Goblin King to become the leader of the Puddles and not seek so high to try to take over the entire city. There are people who would work with him after all, if he has good intentions.
Well, I see. So we should then fight against those that work for the leader of the Puddles. Is that what you're saying?
I find corruption distasteful. I find it completely, well, it has led to the Puddles being the state it's in.
So,
And I don't have the power to do anything about that. That's not where my
well, of course, we would need
influence
somebody
lies,
who
of
has
course.
direct access to Hagen Topkick. Someone who is an ally of his. Someone who is doing work for him. Do you know anyone that may be that we may get inside and gather information on him?
Perhaps. There is... Oh, what was his name that we talked to? 1 second. Let me look back at my notes. This is not a character. We did talk to somebody.
Yeah, you talked to Hagen Topkick.
No, but there was the guy outside too.
Oh, the guard.
Yes.
You did.
But I don't remember his name. Dang it.
It's in the name notes. Yeah. Did he give you a name? I'm trying to think about it.
I don't
think-
have one.
What character are we talking about?
The guard that we met with before we went in to speak with Hagen.
No, we did not get a name
Topkick.
from him.
Yeah,
Dang
I didn't
it.
think you did. Nobody asked his name.
I'm usually very good about that.
He was just guard number one.
Do me a favor and give me a deception check.
I'm not lying to him.
You're not. This is more of a he's trying to figure things out, and I just want to see how well you are.
I'm
in
not
your
trained
discussion.
in deception. I have diplomacy.
No, don't worry, that's coming up for your influence. Right now, I'm checking on something. Okay. Go ahead and then give me your diplomacy check for your
Okay.
influence.
Okay. Diplomacy. Hey, that's the first roll I've gotten. That's above like a 12. Woo.
You did it.
You do get 1 point of influence.
Woohoo! Help
As-
the team.
That discussion is happening, Gorak. Who are you speaking with?
Gorak heads over to Fork Stone Puncher, the Grand Advisor of Security, and walks up and offers his hand. Hello, Flurk, is it?
Indeed it is. I am Flurkstone Puncher. You are, Lars and Gorak, correct?
I am. I just wanted to thank you. I have to imagine the job that you do around here is very challenging with all the troubles down here.
And as you're talking, just to give kind of an idea of what Flurk looks like, he's older, probably in his 25, 26, dark green skin, the weathered look of a goblin who's weathered battles. There's some wispy gray hair. There is a muscular build compared to the other goblins. Many goblins are kind of wiry, but you can see he's built a goblin muscle, which is different than orc muscle, obviously. At his side, you do see 2 dog slicers, one on either side, and these things are razor sharp. You can tell, kind of ready at all times to be pulled out.
It is a hard job, but we do what we can in the guard. The security is not always easy.
We've already run into issues down here. We had new around, and we've been attacked a couple of times already by the Warhounders and some goblin brigands of some sort.
Well, I know the Warhounders. They are, to a certain extent, pretty pathetic, but they do cause problems as far as goblins attacking you. Please let me know about this. We'll see if we can take care of them.
Hi, Dirty Dwarf.
Gorax, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you hail from?
Oh, I am, well, not from around here. I mean, I have traveled here because I do not want to besmirch my home, but my past is much like goblins. The orcs are not always respected, and in many cases, rightfully so. And I wanted something different, and I did not fit in with those people. That is why I have been drawn to the Puddles and to you and your people, because I see you have struggled and made something different than your past. You have moved on and grown and, can I say, evolved beyond where you started.
You see, because one of the things you notice is there is a stoicism about him. He nods at you.
Indeed. We've come a long way, but we don't... Well, some of us, I suppose, are looking for more peaceful times. We are different now than we once were. When you've seen what I have, when you fought as I have, you no longer wish to be in a constant state of battle.
You can see there's a wistfulness that captures him.
You can see as Gorak hears that, his face, you can see it like soften because he has felt that. Yes, my tribe. He looks left and right and just quietly, the dead-eye, brutal. And as you can see, and he puts out his arm again, pulling back his sleeve and showing more of the scars up and down his arms, they do not see a different way, but I, like you, think there can be something different for my people. That if there's any way that I could help you or your people, I would like to see that thrive and continue to grow.
He nods to you.
We should speak at another time. We might have more in common. than what we are discussing here this evening.
I would welcome that very much. I would like to know about these things. We heard so much with the Warhanders and the Skinsaw cult moving in and all of these things that they are new to me, and any way that I can help, I would be glad to talk more.
Give me your diplomacy check, friend.
Oh, look, I have a bonus in that one. Yay!
Thank you, Cardman, for letting me know about the music. I did turn it down a bit. Please, folks, let me know if anything is a little off. You
So that's
rolled
a 16 total.
a 16. That will give you 1 influence point.
Woo.
With a good sir, Lurk Stone Puncher. All right. So, as you are sitting there, each of you having talked to a variety of people, more food comes in. And this is the big meal. This is the big meal. As the trays come out, the fish on a stick has already been served. I believe the cheese that was green has been served. Evelyn, you brought the
block rations
Yep, exactly.
and pickles.
And the pickles. Robert, what did you bring?
Was it crab?
You brought bacon, like really good bacon.
Bacon,
and
that's
wine.
There was
Bacon,
bacon.
bacon,
Yes, I
that's
remember
right.
the
It was
bacon.
the fancy
Yeah.
candied bacon, which I
That's
believe
right.
was already mentioned as well during
Yeah,
the
that's been eaten.
first.
And cinnamon wine.
So as you all are sitting down for the final piece, the plates come in. They're large. Directly in the center is a block ration. And it looks terrible. Directly next to it, in an X pattern, are 2 pickles crossed over each other. You see, as whoever has prepared this has taken pickle juice and sprinkled it around the plate in a decorative manner. You see, as one corner of the block ration has been pushed down and smeared into little twirlies in the pickle juice. Zuska stands up.
Friends, it is with great pleasure to have the final dish presented. A wonderful thank you to Beck for the fish upon the stick, the eyes delectable, the way they pop. Gorak with the cheese that had an additional vegetable trait to it. Simply magnificent. Marcus, the bacon melted within the mouth. The liquid burned, but burned good. But now, we come to the main feast. A dish so exciting. It was hard not to leave it. For the last, you see upon your plate a block of happiness. Next to it, too, delicate green, salty, juicy, squishy pickles. Please, take a glass in one hand.
And all of the glass has been filled with, like ale and wine.
Take a pickle in the other hand and raise them up. It is with great, momentous occasion and pride that we have these 4 wonderful guests eating with us. Thank you, friends, and may the conversations be true and the Goblin King rule.
And as he does that, he takes a bite of the pickle. Crack! And you see, as he does that, juice just flies out.
Here!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
And he finishes eating and drinks and he sits back down. As you, some of you might not dip your forks or other utensils into the rations. What does it taste like, Neri? The block ration that you have prepared?
Well, Agatha prepared it so carefully and lovingly as she always does. So even though it is a ration designed to last for a few weeks in the field, you get the sense of love in it. She put the care into it. So it's not the tastiest thing, but you can feel it. It makes you feel a little warm on the inside.
And as I said, the pickles are just...
Very crisp. Very nice.
They're magnificent. We go into our final round of influence. Our last chance to make an impression, to build an impression, to continue impressions. It's a lot of impressions there. And we will begin this round with Beck.
I've been waiting for this, and I saved my most confusing one for last. Beck actually would like to go talk with Velkick.
That's fine.
Beck walks up to her, and after his previous conversation, he still is a little confused and almost seems frightened as he walks up to Velkick and kind of stares.
She smiles at you.
Hi there, dear. What, Beck it is, right?
Right, yes.
How are you doing?
I'm a little concerned. But are you all right?
She looks at you. Confusingly, of course.
How do you mean, my dear?
Oh, your eyes. Are your eyes all right?
They have seen the sun a few too many times, but they should be okay.
Right. What do you think of the Goblin King? And what do you think of what's happening in the Puddles?
She looks at you for a moment.
Dearie, tell me, what is it you do?
I'm a performer. I'm a traveler. I'm what's needed.
And tell me, as a performer, what is it that
And you see she kind of is trying to find the best words to describe exactly what it is she wants to know from you.
what is it that helps you understand those you perform with?
No. I just play. And I talk and people listen. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever understood anything. The world's so confusing, you know? But people smile when I speak. And they laugh when they leave. I suppose.
I have traveled much. I have seen atrocities. I have helped lead I have watched as some have left and some have come. What do I want and what do I expect? Well, I don't have much time left, my dear. But look at those around us right now. Smiles, confidence, strength. All of this because of the Goblin King. Do I think he's perfect, my dear? No.
It's just that you look so lost. Like you've traveled a long way and you don't know where to turn now. I don't know. I know you know there's more that can be done. And I think you're scared that there's not enough time to do it.
Tell me, Beck. Tell me. Who do you listen to?
My grandma. She whispers in my ears sometimes. At night, when I dream, I hear her with the calling of the crows and the departing of the souls. Everyone speaks of the world with and the temptations of evil and sin. But good is also tempting and when its own rewards, and I fear that people haven't been looking for it. And I can see from you that you have traveled and seen the worst the world has. And yet, at the end, you saw the sun. I don't know who speaks to me all the time. But I hope you're there too.
Don't worry, my friend. I am many places. I see many things. The journey is just beginning. She shrugs, reaches up her hand, touches your face. Continue to listen, and you will learn things. Give me, for your influence, give me diplomacy here. All right.
14 this time.
Unfortunately, that will fail. You do have hero points.
Yeah, Beck will spend it on this.
All right.
$16.
That is enough to be a success. You will indeed gain 1 hero point with Velkick, who has given you some interesting things to think about.
Before this conversation ends, Beck will reach into his pocket and pull out a pebble and will hand it to her.
She will take it.
I know you have the memory of the sun, and you've seen its light and all that it has. But for me, I ask that you take the knowledge that every pebble struck by a moonbeam can be as powerful as any star.
She smiles and she nods. And with that, we move, continuing the discussions, to Gorak.
Gorak will head over now to Zendo Bonehammerer because we have to make you work on the one you didn't write down.
You are such a bastard.
To be fair, I had his on my notes. I was going to talk to him anyways, but
no, it's fine.
It's an extra bonus that you were prepared.
No,
Or
yeah,
less
I know.
prepared, I'll say.
The single one. It's fine. It's fine.
Zendo, Bonehammer, what was your name?
Yes, I am indeed Zendo Bonehammer. I'm Grand Advisor of Public Relations. You are Gorak. I remember things. Good mind, good thinking. That's what I do.
Yes. I was curious with public relations. Do you worry about things? We heard that the Skin Saw cult was setting up nearby Razor Hill, I think it was. I don't know, sorry. Does this concern you in any way? I don't know much about them.
Well,
Razor
you
Hall?
were close. I do believe it's called Razor Hall.
Razor Hall. My note says Razor Hall.
Right, of course.
But the WoW kicked in, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that. I heard it completely, and that's why I pinched my nose. Skin Saw cult. They generally they have a small inkling of movement through our little puddles here. I would not say that they are prominent. They're a minor annoyance.
Well, that's good.
They don't hold the hearts, the minds of our great, wonderful Goblin King.
So, what are your biggest concerns that you have?
Oh, concerns? I don't have any concerns because I know I understand and I let the people know that the Goblin King will make it right for all of them. The others, they worry about the concerns. Aska, Astisco, Flurk. Me? No. I focus on the good, and everything is good. You should know that, Gorak.
Oh. Tries really hard to not roll his eyes.
Tell me, Gorak, as you see the food, did you try to pickle? Was it good?
The food was good. Food here is all better than I've grew up with, so.
This is what the Goblin King brings. Let me ask you, Gorak, what is it you want, Gorak?
Yeah. Better life. Better future for my people.
A better life. Now, isn't that what we all want? We all want homes and food and security and friends and the ability to enjoy what we do with our hands, right?
Yes.
And we want to be able to make sure that we stay healthy and it's peaceful and we get to fish and eat pickles, right?
Yes, this is
and
true.
And that, my friend, is what the Goblin King does. Now, tell me, where else can you find such benevolence, such willingness to help those around him?
I appreciate the sentiment, but there's still murders and attacks in the puddles, and we've been here not long and already been attacked a couple of times.
Gorak, let me
I appreciate the concept. But...
Gorak, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How many dead have you seen?
Other than the ones we have had to kill?
Wait, are you all the murderers?
No, we were attacked multiple times.
That's what a murderer would say.
No.
No, yeah, it is. I have a distinct understanding that a murderer would try not to be pointed out, and developed as a murderer, and as such would say we were attacked.
But he would not tell you that he did it, that he was there either.
What dumb murderers would?
Well, do I look dumb to you?
You look big. Any motions for you to lean down?
It bends down.
He rubs your head.
you don't really seem the dumb type. Well, that one over there, though, who knows?
And he just motions in a direction, and you don't know. You don't know where.
To?
Nobody directly. It was just kind of a.
I appreciate what you're going for. I think it's important that it's not just a story, but we really make sure to do all we can to make it reality. So.
Of course. No, that's totally fine. You're a wonderful, wonderful orc. Look, I understand that you have doubts. We all have doubts. I had doubts when I started. Look at me now, though. Look at my clothes. Look at my notebook. The Goblin King will bring peace and happiness to the lands, and I'm super excited about that. Look at the smiles on everyone's faces.
And I'm gonna need you to give me. This will be diplomacy for this one.
Okay. Diplomacy. Almost rolled deception.
That will be you guys are rolling good this week. That's a success.
We're doing better.
Yeah, significantly better. All right, Neri. Who are you speaking to?
So he was talking to Zindo, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to catch that. Didn't want to assume. Yeah, so Neri is going to talk to Rickon, Grand Advisor of Goblin Issues.
And so you go over to Rickon, and as I said earlier, Rickon is very much of the same feeling as Velkick. When you look at Rickon about 24-ish, I would say. Slate blue eyes, which is kind of unusual. They reflect a feeling of wisdom, of empathy. Her flowing pink hair stands out against the light green skin, a vibrancy to her appearance. There is, which again, very different than the other goblins, an air of beauty about her, but also sadness. She looks at you. Hello there.
Hello. I do believe you are the ambassador of Goblin Issues. Is that correct?
I am indeed. I am. Rickon, that's what is the name. You're Neri, correct?
Yes. I find it interesting that you hold such a position. Curious, what sort of things specifically affect goblins that you would need to be the ambassador for? Exactly.
Dearie, not an ambassador, an advisor.
Or advisor, sorry.
You have to understand, I'm a counselor. It is what I do. It's unusual, mind you. Goblins are not ones to generally do counsel. Many of them like to blow things up. Run around, yell loudly, run on walls, that sort of thing.
Mm.
The issue we run into is goblins then die. Painful
Yes,
deaths.
that seems to be the side effect of recklessness most of the time.
So my job, and what I yearn for, is a goblin society where we are embraced, we are accepted, and we aren't feared. When we walk down the street, when a human or an elf looks at us, and you can see it in their eyes, immediately they think, oh, holy crap, they're going to blow shit up. And so, let me ask you, Neri, why do you think goblins blow shit up?
Could be any number of reasons, just like anybody else, I would imagine.
It stems often from a combination: historical conflicts, cultural affinity for chaos and destruction, tribal rivalries. Some of my brothers and sisters have not made their way to civilization in how they act, only where they are. Look, my job is to deal with goblin issues and try to help them maneuver their way to society, civilization.
It's understandable.
The issue we run into, of course, is the continuance of oppression.
See you differently because of bad actors.
She takes in a deep breath. We all have our secrets. We all have our struggles. We all have our histories. But if I can help a goblin make their way to society, that is what I do.
Sort of what I do too.
Oh?
Well, or I don't know if you've heard much about the Ascendant Court and what goes on there.
I've heard, not a significant amount, but a bit.
There are a lot of people who are sort of desperate to become a god. It doesn't really lead to the path of thoughtful choices and safety most of the time. And a lot of the time we spend our time trying to keep people from killing themselves. So I get that. Because that's all they really know. It's all about what they think is what they want, not necessarily what they need. For those people, it's more of a fact of zealotry in their religious beliefs. I don't particularly understand it myself. I've never really found interest in that. I understand that it brings comfort to some, but I have more comfort in relying on my family and the other guard members. They seem more real, less distant. But
You can see as she...
whatever we can do to help save people who might not have the best choices in mind.
She smiles at you and nods, and I agree. Tell me, have you seen a lot of death?
Not so much as Runewolf, the captain of the Grey Cloaks. He's much more seasoned than I am. But enough that it's disturbing to me. Trying to get to the Starstone is incredibly dangerous, and those who go after it are not always in the right mind. Don't have their safety in mind.
You see as she kind of nods at you. Indeed. Well, I feel as if we are doing work similar.
Well, if there's any way that we can help, I'd like to help. Because I understand. And yes.
Go ahead, give me your diplomacy.
Okay. Roll. Woohoo!
That is a success. So you'll gain 1.
Got it.
And we finish the final one with Marcus. Marcus, who are you going to speak with?
Muted. So quick question: is there anyone we haven't spoken to yet?
I think you've spoken to everyone once. The
I
group
don't
as a
think
whole.
anybody's spoken to Aska, actually. No, Marcus
I
did his
did.
first round.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
So yeah, everyone has spoken to at least once.
Hold on a second. I need to go back up to the list.
Oh,
So
the
is it-
list.
Velka, Aska, Zindo, Lurk, Kroglard, Rickon.
I'm going to speak to Flurk.
All right. So you head to Flick. Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Good. I was going to say, no, go ahead.
You head over to Flick, and you see he's nibbling on kind of the final carrots, and he is definitely looking all around, keeping an eye on literally everything. Kind of, I wouldn't say worrisome, but you can tell that he's ready for the evening to end.
So as he's walking over, out of the corner of his eye, he catches a glimpse of Beck going to talk to Velkik, and he's been munching on a one of the pickles, and his stomach suddenly starts rumbling, and can't decide whether it's the pickle or the conversation that may be occurring. But he puts the pickle down anyway, just to be safe, and sits by Flurk. He says, "Do you have the look of you definitely have the look of someone who is always watching."
He looks at you and he smiles.
Oh, yeah, I like to keep.
Oh, that is the wrong voice. Who is that? Let's get out
I
of
have no idea.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I want to make sure that the king is safe and everyone else is safe.
Give me a perception check.
Sure. Wait, which window am I in? Okay, there we go. Perception. I'm gonna hero point that.
All right. Okay. For those of folks at home, just so you know, that was a roll of 7 total. That is
That's much
significantly
better.
Way better.
Significantly, that is a 23. When he says what he said,
Mhm.
you can tell that he's speaking about somebody in particular. You don't know who, but the way he said that made you feel as if he was speaking of a particular person and not necessarily the group as a whole.
Okay. So tell me, Flurk, as one in charge of security, with all that goes on with the king, his court, the forces arrayed against him, things such as the murders that have been happening, what is it that keeps you up at night?
Well, most goblins embrace the chaos, of course. That could keep anyone awake. Trying to keep a king safe amongst the goblins is not easy.
It sounds as though you're concerned not everyone is in favor of the king's rule.
I have to have my worries. I think any good security would.
Very true. Is there any way I can be of service in that end? To that end.
You see as he, for a moment, looks at you. Are your eyes still gold?
Yes. I don't think they change it. I think his eyes
Okay.
just stay.
Oh, they
gold.
just stay. Okay.
Yeah, it's his Asmar heritage.
He looks at you.
I saw you speaking to Velkick. A conversation. Let
Indeed.
me ask you, are you too a follower of her god?
If you mean Severn Ray, yes, I am a follower of the Dawnflower.
You do not wear simple clothes, though.
No, I do not.
What is the difference?
How do you mean?
I know Velkick. I've spoken with Velkick. She is peaceful, serene. She does not like fighting, but...
And he looks over your outfit.
You look as if you are prepared for a fight.
Unfortunately, sometimes there are those who will not see the error of their ways. They will not repent. They will not surrender to judgment, but rather leave fighting as the only option. I try to avoid it when I can, but it still seems to find me. Perhaps it's because I have not found the right words yet. My experiences are not enough to know the ways to change their minds. I hope to learn, but for now, I hope for the best and prepare for the alternative.
Let me... And you can see there's a struggle in his eyes on what it is exactly he wants to say, on what it is exactly he wants from you. You see as he reaches up and puts his hand kind of on his chest, his other hand on the hilt of one of his blades.
I shall find you and we shall speak.
Give me a diplomacy check.
All right. Yeah, we're going to re-roll that again, too.
That was a 9.
Oh, actually, hold on a second.
That was quite sad.
That's a nat 20 on the other hand. That is 2 influence points with Flirk. And with those influence points, we're going to take our one and only break of the evening as we have finished our final round of influence at the Goblin King's court.